What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Tales from the Table. Another D&D, maybe probably like the millionth D&D actual play podcast out there. I'm Anthony. With this little prologue episode, I kind of just wanted to do a little introduction to us and what this show is, and why we decided to do it when everyone else is doing it. I've grown up. I used to play D&D when I was a kid. Not a lot. I had a friend whose older brother was a DM, and he rarely let us play, and he ran a few sessions for us. But it was very much like back when I was younger. It was so much of like the mindset of, well, you can't play unless you know a DM, and I only knew one DM who barely didn't want to play with us. So we had a hard time playing. I took a really, really long hiatus, maybe like 20-year hiatus and stuff of playing, but still staying in that, the world and the culture and reading and talking about it and stuff. And a couple years ago, I was like, I just want to play. And there have been times when I tried to, I'd throw it out to people, friends and stuff. Hey, you want to play? And I had so many people in my life like, nah, not really. During COVID, the Sea of Thieves tabletop came out. I purchased that, and I had a couple friends who were really, really big into Sea of Thieves, and so we all sat down, my wife, but at the time my girlfriend, and some friends, and played the Sea of Thieves tabletop, and our friends weren't really into it. So I'd say maybe 3 years ago, married at this point, I told my wife, we're going to hang out with some friends for New Year's Eve. What are we going to do? I'm not even telling them. Hey, when they come here, hey, we're playing D&D. And that's what we did, man. And everybody had a blast. I went out, I purchased like the old starter set. We played it. And out of the three friends, it was me, my wife, and three other friends. Two of them stuck with it for a little bit. One of them was like, I had fun, but it wasn't for me, So about 2 summers ago, we started a campaign. It was me, my wife, and 7 of our friends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, 6 of our friends. It was all couples. And then our one friend who played on New Year's Eve but wasn't into it, she would come and hang out and watch, and our other friend who plays with us now would come and watch. And it was a big group, 8 people total, 7 players. And it lasted a couple months. And then me and my wife, I think we probably went most of another year without playing, but jonesing for it, and we started, I got her into Baldur's Gate 3, and that's how we would kind of get our D&D fix. And last summer, our kid wanted to start playing. And so I was like, I'd run a little one-shot dungeon crawl with him before, and he had a lot of fun. And so originally I was like, you know what, that'll be cool. It'll just be me and 2 players, the wife and the kiddo. And our one friend who used to come and watch when we had the big group, I asked him, I was like, would you be interested in playing at all? And he was like, I don't know. And I was like, okay, whatever, And he was like, you know what, I think I'll give it a shot. So yeah, we've been running that campaign we ran for a whole year, playing every other Sunday because we have my stepson. We have him every other weekend, or every other Sunday. We split up the weeks between us and his dad. But he's over there one weekend. He's over with us one weekend. He's over there. So yeah, we were able to play every other Sunday. And that was me, my wife Casey. She played Hex, a tiefling ranger. And then our stepson H, he played Salmon, a bullywug ranger. And then our friend Daniel, who was Morthai, a tiefling paladin. And we ran that. We had a couple other people who'd come and gone. They hung out with another adventurer, Garwin, who ended up dying. So we had two people who had come and gone at some points. And then we were able to finish that story arc, that campaign, a couple months ago, two months ago. Which was perfect because we just had twins right at like a week later. So now we're getting ready to start a second campaign, and it's a sequel, sort of, to the first campaign. So it'll be me, the DM. My wife, Casey, is Hex, the tiefling ranger. My stepson, H, is playing Cordius, a tiefling fighter. And Daniel is playing Phoebo, a half-giant barbarian. And then we have a fourth player with us, is our friend Mary. She is playing a high elf druid. Don't have a name yet. We're still developing her character. She's still working on her character. So last year, on my birthday, I was gifted the Lego Dungeons and Dragons set, which was a really, really fun build. Me and my wife and the kid slowly built it over the course of a week. And it comes with a one-shot adventure. And for my birthday this year, I was like, I want to play it. And but I wanted to be a player. So Daniel DM'd it. And it comes with 4 pre-made characters. And so we asked our friend Mary, like, she was over one day, and I was like, would you be interested in trying it? Because I want everyone to play Dungeons and Dragons, because it's so fun. So I'm always going to ask people if they're interested in playing. And she was like, you know what? I mean, yeah, why not? I'll give it a shot. So on my birthday, we played through the Lego D&D adventure, which was really, really fun. I was a dwarf cleric, and afterwards I asked her, like, would you be interested in joining, and would you be interested in playing more D&D? Because she said she had a fun time, and I was like, you don't have to be honest if you didn't care for it or whatever. But she said no, she had a fun time. So it's like, I sent her out an invite, like, would you want to play with us and join the campaign, the new campaign that I'm working on, that we're going to start soon. And she said, yeah, man. And she seems, she was over the other day, and we were working on her character to kind of fit her in and stuff. And yeah, she said she seems actually excited for it, and not just like fine, Anthony, I'll play fucking D&D, shut up, like, she actually seems like she's looking forward to it. So So that's kind of like the backstory of me getting everyone to play. And that's why I tell people, like, if you're having trouble finding people to play Dungeons and Dragons with, force people to play. Like, just make your friends play. Thought I heard a baby crying. So I just wanted to give, I also want to give a kind of like a disclaimer about this campaign. Not necessarily a disclaimer, but like a little bit about us, right? Like, we are not actors. We are not entertainers. This show, we're not putting on performances for an audience, right? It really is. I kind of just like making stuff, and so I kind of just went to everyone, was like, you guys care if I record these sessions? The audio might not be the best because I'm just using kind of like a one mic setup instead of, because I don't want a microphone in everyone's face, because I don't want people talking into mics. I don't want them to focus on microphones. I want them to just focus on playing the game and having fun. So what you're going to be hearing, what you're going to be listening to, isn't us putting on a show for you per se. It really is just going to be some friends and family just playing D&D, and you're kind of just like a fly on the wall listening, because we have the kiddo, he's 8. He's, he's been playing for a year, but he's still learning, right? And we have our friend Mary, who is really going to be learning as we go. So you're going to hear questions. You're going to hear, there's going to be cross talk. I'm going to try to keep it to a minimum. You might hear us eating some chips, I will do some edits if it comes to like people taking bathroom breaks or like grabbing food and stuff like that, or taking the dog out or whatever. But for the most part, it's not going to be like a heavily edited show. I hear a baby. I'll be right back. Yeah, we had a fussy baby. Well, actually, 2 fussy babies. But I want this podcast to be more than just an actual play. So, we will have like stories. We will have interviews with people who play D&D. Not necessarily famous people, but I enjoy talking about it. I enjoy listening to people talk about it. I just love Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop RPGs. And also, if you have tales of your own that you'd like to hear on here, email us and we'll read them. You can do that at tabletalesdnd@gmail.com. So there won't be video of this show because I'm not putting that much work in. Plus, I feel like if we start doing a video, then we have to actually start performing. But sometimes I do make shorts for YouTube if you want to see stuff, and that'll be on the same page where you can listen to the podcast if you want to listen to it on YouTube instead of a podcast player, and that'll be at TableTalesDND. You can also find us on TikTok at DiceboundDND. All right, that's it for this little prologue episode. Keep an eye out for Prologue Part 2, where I will be going over essentially what happened in the first campaign that leads into campaign 2. Also, I hate to be this guy, but if this seems interesting to you at all, don't forget to hit the follows or subscribes, whatever you're listening on, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever. It helps us out when it comes to the algorithms.